Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Turin here with another Warhammer Total War Live Battlecast. In this particular game, we are going to play the Warriors of Chaos, and we're going to be facing off against the Empire. So we're going to get a Chaos Lord on a Dragon. We're also going to get a Chaos Sorcerer with the Lore of Death, bringing the Soul Blight as well as the Spirit Leech, and then 2 Feral Manticores. So I really want to win that air battle. If he decides to play that game, I don't want to, if you need to get a Chaos Lord or you decide to, you really need to have enough kind of supplementation against the Empire, because if he goes balls deep and just gets Empire captains and units like that, you're going to have an extremely rough game. So we're going to get 3 Aspiring Champs for the infantry, 2 Forsaken to kind of circumvent the flanks and really, apply that heavy shock if need be. And on top of that, we're probably going to get the armor-piercing Chaos Warriors with great weapons, just because he's probably going to get great swords or halberdiers or something like that. And if he does get great swords, I really want to make sure to, have some Chaos Warriors with great weapons to do their thing. So on top of that, we have a little bit of cushion left. We have over 1,000 resources. So the Marauder Horsemasters are actually an interesting pick here. I don't know how good they're going to be, but I think it might be worth trying. I mean, I feel like if you guys were in chat with me right now, you would ask me to do it, so we're going to. We're going to get rid of the Foe Seeker, and oh man, I really need a little bit more money. This is tough. What can I get rid of here? So greatly improves the power recharge rate, and the Arcane Conduit, of course, is quite good. So let's actually do this, and we can get a regular group of Chaos Warriors, and then we're going to get these guys as well. And let's go ahead and put some Chevrons into Forsaken. Again, a very high value unit in this matchup. I think they're quite strong. And yeah, let's see how the Horsemasters do. Because I don't know if he's going to bring missile troops, and if he does, I feel like I have enough Manticores to really punish them. And a lot of times the Empire will bring, fairly lightly armored infantry and spearmen, and then also in halberdiers. And these are units that will, really get punished by Master Marauder Horsemen. So let's go ahead and see how this goes. Should be a fun time, guys. I haven't used them much, but I think they're a pretty good unit. Excuse me. And at the very least, they have pretty good, I think they have decent combat stats. So if, use them to rear charge or other things like that, or, just chase down routing units, I think you can get pretty good value. And on that same note, I am using the Lore of Death with Soul Blight. So there's going to be a bit of a leadership hit to my opponent's forces. So hopefully I can route some spears or halberdiers pretty early on and, make some good progress. Also, I really like having kind of a skirmisher units in the front line. I know I don't normally use them, but I think it's going to be pretty useful just for kind of gaining control of the battlefield and the map. So we're going to split these guys like so. We're going to put their shielded kind of leaders in the back here. Just, again, they have smaller models. And though they're very durable, I don't like them to take the initial charge. I like them to be more like kind of follow up and, saturate your other units. So we're going to get our Flying Goon Squad in Group Dose. We're going to put them right here, just over there on the sides. And Forsaken, again, I usually like to keep in the wings. Now, the one thing this army is lacking is cav. Demogryph Knights, units like that are going to be pretty hard to deal with. And if they get really good charges, they can just dumpster my Forsaken. But again, I'm hoping that my Manticores and other units can kind of work in tandem with one another to really kind of mitigate that threat. So I'm hoping he doesn't have crossbows or things like that. A lot of Empire builds I've been seeing actually haven't been using missiles. So we're going to hopefully continue with that legacy here. So we're going to go here. We're going to start flying our Goon Squad, and we're going to pull our cav over here as well. So he does have some, looks like greatsword. So it was a pretty good choice bringing these armor-piercing units. He does have some handgunners here. It looks like more greatswords in the back, and he does have some crossbows actually. So quite a few missile units, and no ground forces really. So we're going to have to be very effective with our use of our Manticores and kind of mitigating a lot of that threat. And you can see he's already repositioning out here. So he's pretty on top of it. What we'll probably end up doing is landing a Manticore on these crossbows. And then as soon as that's done, I'm actually going to pull all the way around here. So we kind of, right now he has a pretty fluid formation. You can see everything's kind of kosher, and he has a front line. But if I pull around the back, hopefully it can pull some of his infantry to the back as well to try and obviously have to protect these guys. So it looks like he has a General of the Empire. So I feel like our infantry corps is pretty strong. So let's go ahead and fly over here and kind of start posturing up essentially. And you can see he's pulling a lot of his troops right now, which is good. So we definitely want that. Again, just buying times for our Chaos Soldiers. So let's go ahead and jump these guys here. So we're going to put our Manticores in group. We're probably going to put them in group 4, and we're just going to keep our Chaos Lord back. These guys here, we're just going to posture here, and I am taking a lot of handgunner fire, which is definitely not fun. So we're going to get these guys going here. Thankfully, he's shooting at the shields, I think, which is good. So so far, so good. We're going to pull these guys over here. We're going to pull these guys up and around here. We'll get these guys going over here as well. And I think we're going to catch those handgunners out of position. I'm not sure, so let's pull these guys back and just get ready to party. And all right, so far, so good, guys. I think we're in good shape. So the front line is going, pretty well. Things are moving. Definitely guys are chasing the appropriate targets and everything. And we're going to get these guys going here and get these guys around the back. And these guys, we just kind of want to circle around this way. So the Manticores, I accidentally landed them, so I actually wasn't paying attention. So, well played on my opponent's part. But hopefully that disruption there will, do a little bit of work. But they both get out unscathed, so we're A-okay, boys. So one of these guys, once they go off, we want to take them back here and pull these guys around here. And these Forsaken, we can just honestly charge them right to these spears here. And we can fly our Lord over here. And so far, so good. So let's actually just keep running. We don't want these guys fighting greatswords. That's like the last one we want them fighting. So here, we're going to switch them to melee and just have them dive here. And we'll switch these guys to melee here. And actually, let's go ahead and, yeah, let's switch them here. So we should be fine. So we're going to just pull in and then pull out. And hopefully, we'll be okay in that respect. So we're going to pull our Lord over here. Just keep pulling these guys around. And let's go ahead and use a fat Soul Blight right on that front line. That's going to be really nice. Get these Aspiring Champs going right here. And the Master Marauder Horsemen are also throwing spears, while they do it. So we're going to get these guys here, get these Forsaken here, and just continue to try and outmaneuver our opponent. And the Master Marauder Horsemen do a pretty good job, so we're actually going to switch them out and pull them out here. And then this other group we're actually going to pull out as well. So the Manticores are up here. Let's go ahead and dive them both in those missile units. Just pull this other one over here. And all right, so we want to make sure to use Arcane Conduit. We do have our Forsaken who are definitely outmaneuvering our opponents. So let's go ahead and have them start skirmishing with those greatswords there. And my Lord's getting a little bit trapped down, so we're going to pull him back now. And let's go ahead and pull these units here to mitigate their fire. Just kind of keep pressuring and just diving every chance we get. Let's pull these Forsaken in. And that Soul Blight in the front line really, really helped. It did a lot of damage to our opponent. Let's go ahead and use a Spirit Leech on the enemy Lord here. Now that these Forsaken were able to maneuver around, you can see my Marauder Horsemen. Let's have them throw into spears here. That's going to be pretty good. Over here, we do have some units routing, so we're going to use our Master Marauder Horsemen to chase them and not, waste our important infantry. And let's just collapse right here on the flank. So we're going to pull our Lord back here as well, and we should have enough for a Soul Blight in a few seconds. And I think we're doing pretty good. A lot of my opponent's infantry corps is pretty compromised, and a lot of his missile units were shut down. So that looks like it's game. The Soul Blight, very, very good in the front line, and I think he left a little preemptively, but, essentially I think there was about to be, a mass rout. Most of his units in the back had been compromised, and, it was definitely very tough at that point. So let's go ahead and take a look at the breakdown and see how things go. So the Manticores did pretty well for themselves, 26, 18 kills respectively, but you guys saw the disruption. And when you have 4 flying units like that, you can really kind of split them up and do quite a bit of work. So some pretty good results from those guys. As far as the Forsaken go, definitely pretty happy about their performance. And you saw he tried to detach a group of greatswords to chase him down. We were able to just micro out and around that rock and really outmaneuver our opponent. So very, very happy with those guys as well. And they're so strong in this matchup. I mean, they can just annihilate crossbowmen, handgunners. They can annihilate spears, halberds, just such a good unit. And Forsaken with their 48 weapon damage, even if you get them on like, Cav or something like that, it can be really good, assuming, they don't get charged, of course. But Manticores also help for kind of mitigating that threat. The Hammer of the Witches and other units, he definitely brought a lot of missile units, and I think it was a little bit tough. I didn't see what he was doing with the Lore of Shadows. I think he was trying to do some fancy stuff in the front line. You guys will, in the comments below, will have to let me know. But anyways, good games to my opponent, Evil Lycan. I look forward to seeing you guys on ladder, and I hope you guys enjoyed that cast. So this is actually going to be a double cast, a double header. So we're going to go ahead and play another game and see how it goes. So we're right into another match. And I know you guys are a bit sick of seeing the Dwarf player. Not sick per se, but maybe you guys just need a little bit of a break. So let's see. Who do we want to play here? We could play... Let's see who we pick. So it looks like he's going to play the Dwarves. So I know you guys, always, say that the Dwarves punish the Wood Elves, and they most certainly do quite well there. So let's actually get the Wood Elves. And I'll show you guys what I like doing in this particular matchup. I've had some decent success with it, but we're going to get the Cloak of Isha, and we're going to get Mel Gibson, who's always a fan favorite. On top of that, we're going to get the Spellsinger with the Lore of Life. We don't need to put it on a mount or anything like that. So we're going to do this. We have Regrowth. And then on top of that, we're going to get 3 groups of Way Watchers. It's probably a little bit excessive, to be honest, but we're going to do it anyways. We're going to get some Eternal Guards with shields. We're going to mix in 2 Treekin in the front line just to kind of further saturate there. And then on top of that, we probably want to get some Wild Riders with shields, which I feel are a pretty good choice. It's a very simple, straightforward army. I mean, we need to get a ton of value out of these Way Watchers because, again, that's a really expensive investment. And honestly, I'm very tempted to just like cut one and, try and, mix something else in or get some Wildwood Rangers. That actually might be a good choice. Let's do this. Just we have a little bit of a sturdier front line. And the Wildwood Rangers, they have, 45 weapon damage, and they hit like trucks. So, and again, Mel Gibson and his AoEs, they actually do really good here, guys. A lot of people don't give him enough credit. But, the Hawk's Talon, if you get that on a group of, like, Quarrelers that's standing perfectly still, you can just do so much work. And it's really, really good. So, definitely a fan of that. And we'll see how it pans out. But the Way Watchers, I like them. I like them a lot. A lot of people complain about their ammo and things like that, which is true. It's a huge issue. And if you don't micro them very, very well, your value from them can be extremely limited. So, the first thing you want to do is probably turn off that fire at will and just use them manually. Just make sure you're always shooting at pertinent targets. I mean, it's easier said than done. I screw it up all the time, but still, I'm going to do my best, of course. We're going to put these guys here. We're going to put these Wildwood Rangers behind these trees, and hopefully the trees can throw some shade on them, no pun intended, and we'll see how it goes. So we're going to put these guys right here, like so, and then Mel Gibson and the boys. These guys can actually do a little bit of a vanguard deployment, so we'll put them over here just so they don't have to run as far. They'll be in group 2, but Mel Gibson, I usually deploy him on the wings here and just kind of, move him from there. We'll put this guy over here. We'll get a little arrow of Kurnus as the battle starts, and of course the Spell Singer with the Lure of Life. We're going to put those guys right here, and the Wild Riders, they do have vanguard as well, so we'll have some dual threat going on and see how it goes. All right, guys, let's have some fun. It's showtime. So we're gonna start moving. Does he have an all Slayers army? Oh my goodness, this is too much, guys. I don't know about this. All right, you guys are in for a treat tonight. Oh man. All right, so we're gonna posture up here. We're gonna go ahead and use an arrow of Kurnus on the opponent's lord, and oh my god, he has Ungrim, so his whole army's unbreakable, which is yeah, I mean, you know what? I mean, we might as well just start shooting, right? I mean, there's no point in not shooting. So we're just gonna start unloading on these Slayers and just cycle charging, and they do have bronze shields technically, but I feel like these guys will do a pretty good job. And the Slayers are faster than the Mo, which really sucks. So let's start kiting back and just running, and hopefully we can survive. And actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to use our Cav over here to kind of help. We're going to pull our Lord in, and yeah, we need to have a Death Star here, guys. We need to just go balls deep on the Death Star. So our troops are running. We're going to go ahead and use Hounds of Gibson right here to disrupt that formation a little bit. It's not going to do a whole lot. And yeah, the Slayers are about to charge in, so we want to charge like kind of a cross pattern, and we're going to do this and just try and keep our troops high and tight, and we're going to form kind of a shield wall over here and just do this and form a bit of a circle. So these guys need to run faster. I don't know if they get the sense of urgency that the Slayers are coming after them, because again, this is going to be pretty scary. So our Wild Riders, we're actually going to pull over here and use them to protect our missile units, because it's going to be a huge threat for our guys. We're going to take a ton of shock damage, so we want to go ahead and use that heal really, really fast. Over here, we're going to have him shoot at Ungrim. We're going to get these guys engaged here, these guys engaged here, and all right. So this group can turn and start shooting at Ungrim. That's actually not a bad choice. And the Wild Riders can kind of just posture here. Mel Gibson, we're going to put him in melee as well. We have to watch out for Ungrim, though. Ungrim's going to be quite scary. So we have a pretty good line of sight. We're getting some good fire right now. Let's go ahead and use the Hawk's Talon. We're going to use it right here, and then we're going to pull Mel Gibson back, because our opponent's going to go pretty balls deep here. So our missile troops did get back, so we're actually going to just start shooting. We don't want to shoot into the trees here. We want to pull the Wild Riders back, and whoever chases these guys, we're just going to kind of kite out and hopefully be able to do well. And you can see the Waystalkers are doing well. We're going to use Hounds of Gibson right there to kind of disrupt their formation. You can see it does some pretty good damage. Arrow of Kurnus is back up, so we're going to kind of push those guys here, and man, we are taking a ton of damage. This is definitely pretty crazy. So let's charge in here, and hopefully we'll be able to do some work here. But Mel Gibson is kind of entrenched in fighting now, which is going to be very, very tough. A lot of our infantry and other troops are just taking an absolute beating. So let's go ahead and see if there's anyone we can kind of heal up right now. So we'll use a regrowth in that group. And these guys are not in good shape here. So we're going to pull this guy into melee. Our Wild Riders are able to do pretty well for themselves, so let's pull out here. Let's see where Mel is at. Okay, so Mel's pretty entrenched in here, and thankfully for me, he is unbreakable. So let's go ahead and use a nice heal right here, and try and keep our Lord alive for as long as possible. So these guys, we're just going to kind of keep cycle charging here, and hopefully these guys can do pretty well. Yeah, this is tough, guys. So we're going to shoot here, and our Cav are doing okay. So let's collapse on this group. I feel like that's going to be a little bit more cost effective. So I don't have much left here. In the front line, we're doing okay. And our Spell Singer here, we kind of want to start regrouping and getting our forces in the back. Isolate as many Slayers as we can, and just hopefully, use up whatever missile troops we have. But man, he just punished those Waystalkers, which is really bad. So we're going to start shooting into this big blob over here. I do have the Cloak of Isha, which is going to be really nice. So let's actually just blob and just use all the AoE we can. Just hopefully I can survive for a little while. Our troops in the front line are doing okay. Our Spell Singer with the Lord of Life is doing good, and we're shooting into that group now, which is very, very solid. Back here, we want to go ahead and cycle charge here, and that Cloak of Isha, man, it's making him tank it, but it's not looking good for the old boy here. So we're going to use this Hawk's Talon right here. We do have some troops coming back from route, so let's try and regroup back here the best we can. We're getting some charges, but the Slayers are obviously doing some serious work. So Mel does a good job, and if he can get away here, that's going to be so huge. Come on, run, Mel, and Mel gets taken down. So the Slayers, pretty serious threat, guys. They're doing some work here, but his numbers are pretty low. I mean, his army's relatively tattered, so we're going to pull out here and just try and regroup the best we can. We do have an Arrow of Kurnus here, so let's go ahead and use that on his Lord, and just any units we can kind of shoot at here are going to hopefully be good for us. So we do get our Cav out, but they're in pretty bad shape. We're going to pull these guys over here and see what we can do. So let's push in here and just pressure, and things are going good, guys. We're having a good time. Let's go ahead and shoot here, and oh my god, there's just so many of them. So let's shoot into these groups. Look how many there are. There's just so many on the map. It's just pure absurdity right now. So we're going to do this. we're going to use that healing right there, and we're going to also run. I mean, we have to try and run because he just has too much, I think. And Ungram, of course, being on the battlefield is definitely very, very bad for us. So we do have the Spellsinger with the Lure of Life kind of fighting some of these guys, and these guys can, shoot and run. And let's go ahead and put them in skirmish mode just so, they will automatically run. That Treekin is definitely not happy. This Waystalker is engaged here. We do have some cav here, so let's get a little bit of a rear charge and pull these guys around as well, and just see what we can. Oh no, he's paying attention. He's definitely paying attention to that, guys. So those guys hitting like trucks, doing very, very good for themselves. So we're gonna go here and just pull these Treekin back to the front line. We do have 8 of them, so that's pretty good for us. So let's actually shoot here and shoot here, and if we can get those Wild Riders around and have them actually kind of intercept some of these kind of guys who are chasing us, I think we might be not gonna win, but we'll definitely have a bit of a better chance. So we're still just running and shooting here. Yeah, these guys might be able to finish off this group of Slayers here. So we'll switch to melee and just fight there. We do have some spears coming, and also this Waystalker is gonna be back, in just a moment. So that's pretty nice. And you can see these Wild Riders, though they're shaken, that's definitely not good. They're able to do a bit of damage to this group. Didn't look like they got a lot of model kills, but let's go ahead and shoot here, and we can have them start shooting at the opponent's Lord. Let's go ahead and use an Arrow of Kurnus on this big blob here and see if that's a little bit more effective. So let's switch these guys to melee. Just have them fight. They're not going to get away from those Slayers, So it's go time, boys. It's go time. So we're going to just continue to kite and shoot and do everything we can. But I think a lot of my troops are going to start wavering from army losses, but we are getting some good shots here. So let's actually pull our trees over here, see if we can kind of get this one out of the dumpster. And let's charge these guys to provide some cushion, because if these guys can get some volleys off, I think we'll be okay. Not okay, but we'll be in better shape. So we're going to pull this guy in here. We do get a bit of a charge. It looks like it was awkward, though. The pathing on that was not nice. So we get away. So as soon as we do that, we want to just turn and shoot and just pull these guys back. And we do have the arrows going here, so that's definitely not bad. Oh, nice. We have some spears and some Treekin, which is going to be really, really good. So we need to keep working on Ungram, because he's going to be a big project, guys. He's going to take some time. So let's go ahead and shoot these guys here and just keep rear charging. And let's see what we have left. So we do have some spears coming. You can see Ungram is definitely not in the best shape. So we're going to shoot here. And also this chick, she needs to fight. I don't think we have time to wait around and, no half measures, essentially. So let's just keep shooting at these Slayers, just keep cycle charging here. We'll shoot at this group and kind of, charge separately and just try and be as effective as possible. We do have a heroic unit here, which is pretty nice, but my opponent is doing, pretty good. I mean, the Slayers are just scurrying everywhere, and it's definitely very, very tough to deal with all of them. But he doesn't have that many Slayers left. I mean, he has a group of 22 here. These trees are just getting chopped up. Man, that is not good. So right now, we probably want to kite back, to be honest, and just get our guy running here, keep these guys going, and our cav, we kept engaged a little bit longer than we should have, because, Micah stood a little bit there. So we're going to pull this guy back here, just keep doing our thing, and it looks like that's all she wrote. So, quite a defeat. I definitely was not expecting that. Very well played to my opponent. Definitely caught me off guard. They evaporated my front line, like so hard. That was ridiculous. So I know you guys have been asking me to do all Slayer builds, and now I see why. I think the Waystalkers were not good here, because he had a lot of shielded infantry that I guess quote unquote shielded. Yeah, that was just strange. I wasn't ready for that. Caught me off guard. And also I was really sloppy with Mel Gibson. He's extremely fast. I should have ran with him. I should have kited, but I definitely took him for granted and was punished for it. But I should have used regrowth on him, and then just, thrown spears and tried to pick off Ungram and, played that attrition game. But regardless, super well played. It was really, really fun. Thanks for the good game, Chess. Look forward to seeing you again. So we're going to continue, guys. We're going to make it a three-peat. We're actually going to give you 3 games. So hopefully you don't mind. I'm in the streaming mood tonight, although I suppose it's not streaming. So I do need to start streaming, though, for sure. And this happens to me a lot. Sometimes when I try and search for games, it'll say it's looking for match, and it gets kind of stuck. So we're gonna go back, go to quick battle, and just do this, and let's see if it works this time. So yeah, when you see the comment, that's how you know it's working, essentially. So that was cool, man. That all Slayers build, that's some goofy stuff, guys. And they cut those Eternal Guards to pieces, and the trees. You'd think the trees would be a little bit more durable, but yeah, I guess not. So we're on Alpine Ridge here. Excuse me. This is a pretty good map. It has this nice lip here, but again, let's see who my opponent decides to play. And it looks like he's going to play the Dwarves. So let's go ahead and, do we want to play Chaos? Do we want to play Greenskins? I feel like Greenskins would be pretty fun. Let's go ahead and play the Greenies. Let's get Grimgore. Yeah, why not? Let's have some fun. Let's get Grimgore. We're probably not going to get Gitsnick. How expensive is that? Yeah, that's 300. That's quite a bit. So we're going to get 2 Goblin Big Bosses. Put them on spiders. Just great utility, poison. Just all around solid against the Dwarves, in my opinion. we're going to get an Orc Shaman. And actually, you know what? We're going to pinch some pennies. The Night Goblin Shaman is a little bit cheaper, and he kind of serves that same purpose. Obviously, you miss out on Foot of Gork, but if you're just looking for simple, straightforward buffs, I mean, and debuffs, you get those at a very, very cheap price. On top of that, we're going to get some Black Orcs here. We're going to get a huge group of those bad boys. Just very, very good, in my opinion. On top of that, we're going to get our Gobbo Firing Squad. So we're going to get the Rusty Heirs, as well as 2 groups here of Goblin Archers. So I think that's pretty good. Squigs, obviously not a bad choice here. The Ragnarok Queen is very, very good. The Spider Spawn is so strong. So we're really going to try and abuse that to the best of our abilities. We're also going to get Morgrub's Mangy Marauders. These guys aren't bad, actually. They do missile damage. Well, of course they do missile damage, but they do armor piercing, which is pretty good. Definitely dig it. And I don't know if I'm going to get Squigs. I've been having mixed results with Squigs. If they're really good at like using, you know, armor piercing, or not armor piercing, excuse me, the Rune of Wrath and Rune and, you know, abilities like that, it's pretty hard to actually make them function. So let's go with this. We're just going to go straight forward, just march right down the pipe, and, you know, hope that these Black Orcs, when they're, you know, motivated by their leader here, you know, can do the business. So let's go ahead and have some fun. And the Mangy Marauders, in conjunction with these Gobbos, should be able to shut down the Gyrocopter threat. Because the Mangy Marauders, they have armor-piercing missiles, so if Gyrocopter spam in conjunction with the Rusty Heirs and a little bit of missile support from the Ragnarok Queen, you can fend off most Gyrocopter builds. Unless they just go, you know, freaking ham and just bring, like, what, you know, like an entire roster of them, you can usually do okay. Grimgor isn't the best choice, I don't think. I think there's some better options, probably. Well, let's go ahead and see. So honestly, I like Wurzog against the Dwarves. He kind of, you know, saves you money because he takes care of your Lore of Magic, but the Effigy of the Git, when combined with the Focus Fire from the Gobbos, is really, really strong. Also, you know, the Night Goblin War Boss isn't bad because he can carry potions, but Grimgor, he's got some pretty impressive stats, and he can really crack skulls. So I'm really hoping that, you know, only 4 groups of Black Orcs can really penetrate that Dwarven line, and obviously I'm hoping he's not cheesing or anything like that, but, you know, again, we'll hope for the best, guys. Hopefully it'll be fun. But I should be able to get the high ground faster with the Mangy Marauders. I'll probably just deploy them up there. But, you know, knowing most Dwarf players, he's probably going to deploy on, like, the back of the map or something and, you know, just go deep like that. So we'll see how it goes. But, man, that Slayer army was freaking cool. I mean, I'm proud. I'm proud to have been slain by them. That was just awesome. I kind of thought it was a joke until I just experienced that. But it was really cool, man. All right, so we're going to get these Black Orcs here, deploy them like so. We're going to put the Black Orc right here, and also the Goblin Big Bosses. We're going to actually just kind of scurry around and try and obstruct his, his missile troops with those. So our missile units we're going to put back here just like that, and so far so good. And of course, our Night Goblin Shaman, we'll just put him kind of back here with his goons. And we'll put the Spider Queen a little bit further back, just because, you know, if there is missile fire, we want her to be the last target, essentially. So we're going to put these guys in group 2 and these in group 3, and let's go ahead and move as close as we can to the hill, because again, it's very important to secure that. So we're going to do this, and the Mangy Marauders are very, very good for securing the high ground. And if he has like a Dwarf Death Star without missiles, like, you can actually engage the Mangy Marauders on like hammers or things like that, and they'll get a lot of kills. Here, unfortunately, if he can't deploy that far back, though. It's not that long of a march, but, you know, I do have Black Orc, so if he has like a lot of cannons and things like that, I am going to take a bit of punishment. But once we get close and the Ragnarok Queen's able to, you know, summon the Spiderlings and things like that, it's going to be tough. And let's actually just put her over here, because I want to be a little bit closer for that Spiderling summon. So Grimgor, let's go ahead and take a look at his stats. So 70 melee attack is extremely high. So if he's in like trading combat with the enemy lord, it's going to be very hard to beat him, especially if he has Dawa active. You know, relatively one-dimensional, but he is immune to psychology, which is great. Dwarves don't really cause fear unless you're playing against Clan Angren, so again, it's not great here. It's not really relevant at all, actually, but still, we're having fun, guys. Hopefully you enjoy this triple cast. We're up in the ante. We're getting down and dirty. Pretty excited for this Bretonnia cast. I actually have a really, really fun Bretonnia 2v2 game to show you guys, so hopefully you guys don't mind. Oh my god, what's going on up here? Jesus, he has Rangers. Okay, so the Mangy Marauders have to flee in quite a jiffy. Oh, let's get the Spider Queen up here. If we can summon some spiders here, this is going to be really nice. So we do get the summon off, which is great. So we're able to shoot in on these Rangers. That's so cool. My opponent actually summoned, but the spiders here are able to get these guys, which is good. So the Mangy Marauders aren't going to do as good against, you know, these guys. Well, they'll do okay. So we're just going to keep marching in. Let's summon another group of spiders, because we really want to chop these guys down. So, oh, looks like there's lag. Hopefully he doesn't disconnect. This is like the makings of a really fun game, you know? So, oh, come on, buddy. Come on. I hope your internet can make it. All right, he did it. So he does have Gyrocopters coming in, so thankfully we have a pretty good counter, and you can see the spiders here and the Mangy Marauders are getting a nice little firing line, but when he comes in here, he's not going to know what hit him. Get him, boys. So we're going to put the Gobbles in group 4 and just keep marching everyone up the hill. We want to get that high ground before the Dwarves do, but they're getting up there pretty quick, but look at that focus fire. It's so good. We're also going to switch our Magi Marauders on here and just keep pressuring here and just doing our best. So these Black Orcs we can just detach to just slaughter these guys, and we'll pull the Spider over here as well. So just to kind of disrupt this formation, we're going to summon some Spiders on those Iron Drakes back there just to kind of block them up, and we're going to get these Black Orcs engaged across the front line. So far so good, guys. We're having fun. We're going to get Grimgor right here and just have him engage with the rest of the group. And this group, man, they were able to punish those. So let's make sure to switch those ASAP. The Black Orcs, we're going to pull her around, and we're also going to use the Itching Nuisance right there on that big Dwarven blob. So the Spider we're going to pull over here, and we just need to keep summoning on those Iron Drakes. We can't afford to let them like sit and get comfortable. So it looks like we were able to kind of route those guys. So let's pull these guys up the hill. The Goblin Big Bosses we're going to use to plug our flank, and also we're going to use the Spider over here. So the Magi Marauders, we're going to bring them up and around. Let's bring these guys to collapse here. Just have them start shooting at these long greens with great weapons. So our missile line, we also want to kind of get up on this hill and get a nice little firing angle here, which should be good. The big bosses should be able to honestly deal with that. So right now we want to look for his important units, and he does get these Iron Drakes free. So let's lock them up, and you see he gets a volley, and a single volley is able to do pretty well. So well played to my opponent. Now it's time to use the Wah, and we want to start chasing Grimgor on important targets. So we're going to get him on these Runesmiths and things like that. And these Black Orcs over here should do pretty well, but the Magi Marauders actually get caught out. So let's actually reposition them here, get our missile troops up here on the hill, and let's use Sneaky Stabbing in the front line. It should be pretty good. So right now you can see the Queen and the Spiders are chasing these Iron Drakes. We can't let them go. Grimgor has gotten through, and he's doing a really, really good job. And the Black Orcs were also able to collapse that line. I think there was just too many buffs for my opponents here. So right now we're going to just start shooting at these Rangers here and just trading. We'll pull the Magi Marauders up and around. Let's actually charge these Rangers here and switch this group firing over there. So the Ragnar Queen's doing pretty well in the back line, but we want to pull it up and have it help finish off the really important units. It looks like he does have Ungrim over there, so we want to be careful to avoid him at all costs. So we're going to go here, just keep pushing these Black Orcs through, just doing the best we can. The Magi Marauders are actually, yeah, they did pretty well here. So let's actually switch them out and just have them start shooting here. Let's have these two units start shooting down these gyrocopters, and these guys shooting these guys down. So let's go ahead and use an Itchy Nuisance on the last of my kind of opponent's infantry corps here. The Black Orcs are doing good. They're heavily outnumbered here, but I think honestly, we want to kill these Runesmiths like is ASAP. I think that's going to be a really, really good trade for us. Let's pull these Black Orcs right here, and that's a risky play for Ungrim to come in over there. We're going to use Sneaky Stab in here. We're going to pull our Spider as well as our Lord and just start punishing Ungrim. And you know, as gangster as Ungrim is he's going to have a hard time with these guys right now with my Lord and those other units. So Magi Marauders doing a very, very good job chasing off those units. So we're actually going to pull our missile troops down and around the back of our opponent and see if we can get like a really kind of fancy engagement here. So let's check for routing units. I think we're good. Our big bosses are here. Let's split one group here to kind of distract those units and keep them from being, effective. My opponent doing a good job actually, detaching with these long greaves with great weapons. So we're going to throw one group of gobos in as fodder just to kind of absorb that and just check on our Lord battle. You can see like with the Wah or the little Wah on top of Ungrim, that's just so rough. So right now we're able to kind of distract these. You can see some Black Orcs here. So let's actually just start shooting here with these guys with our missiles and also start shooting right here to shut those guys down. So his Lord does die, and I think at that point it is a mass rout. So definitely the Ragnar Queen, extremely strong. Definitely put in some serious work. So, can't complain about that at all. And let's go ahead and take a look. So Grimgor with their Ragnar Queen were able to just destroy these Runesmiths because their Ragnar Queen kind of paves a way through the front line. It can push aside a lot of infantry, very, very strong. And the Goblin Firing Squad, as well as the Magi Marauders, were able to do a really good job against the Gyrocopters. So can't complain about that at all. Was definitely very, very pleased. So, as far as my opponent's army, I definitely, Dwarf Warriors are decent. I don't like them so much with Ungrim. I think that's a bit of a riskier pick. But still, he had a bit of a cheaper army. The Ranger Vanguard, I see what he was trying to get at by, deploying up in the high ground, getting that vision, and then following up with his Dwarfs to kind of secure that high ground for his Iron Drakes and things like that. But a lot of my picks, were kind of won before the match even started because I had that Vanguard deployment. I had the Arachnar Queen Spiderlings, which were able to trap those Rangers. And then, of course, I had the Magi Marauders as well as the armor-piercing, the Rusty Errors, which were able to shut down those Gyrocopters. So, anyways, very well played to my opponent, Cardiar. I look forward to seeing you again on Ladder, and I hope you guys enjoyed that triple cast. Let me know your thoughts. Maybe I'll try and get four or five games in one, just kind of take you guys through a whole night, see how you enjoy it, and we'll go from there. Thanks again, guys, and have an excellent night.